George Offrey. We're going to talk about another movie today, 2012. Come out in 2009. This one here is a pretty good movie. It's about the Earth being covered in water and the poles and everything else shifting. When the movie came out, they had a lot of people thinking it was actually real and going to happen, so they talked about the poles shifting and all this really happening. Probably not in my lifetime or yours that this is going to happen. But basically, what it says, what the plot of the movie is towards the beginning of the movie, they figure out there's a solar flare coming out, and it disrupts the magnetic field of the Earth. Um, and it takes them, 5 years for this whole disaster thing to go out. So the governments do what the governments particularly do, try to protect themselves. And they build these two ships, five ships or six ships, something like that, in secret in China. And they only let on certain people. In this case, it'd be the rich and the wealthy. Kind of reminds me of what's going on today in politics. But we won't get too far into that either. At least not in this video. Maybe next one. Maybe I'll drop some politic videos just for the heck of it. So they got doctors and scientists working on the best way to solve or distribute the problem, fix the problem, and nobody comes up with the solution except for build ships and ride it out. And this, I don't remember the guy's name. Anyway, there's a limo driver that's key to the whole movie, and turns out the guy that he's driving is one of the people that paid for tickets on these ships. So he takes his family, and the whole movie he's fighting to get to the ship. They blow up airplanes. The special effects was great in this movie. They destroy a limo. When the limo gets destroyed, they hook up with um, his ex-wife's new husband and flies him. Well, beginning of the movie, they start in Yellowstone, taking his kids to visit Yellowstone and go camping in the limo because his car wouldn't start. They meet this crazy radio personality. Yeah, he's crazy. Sitting up there talking at Yellowstone and watching what's going on and broadcasting what he sees. My damn nose itches today. That sucks. It's going to make this video bad. Anyway, so then he it's Mariflow. He ends up taking the kids back early because the supermarket split in two from an earthquake. Put a big old canyon right between the supermarket. They show a couple in there, one standing on one side of the fault and one standing on the other side of the fault and being separated. It's kind of an interesting movie. I kind of like that part. There's lots of scenes in this thing that I like. Um, they call the president in this movie Thomas Wilson. Anyway, so then they end up finding a plane and flying back to Yellowstone to get some kind of map as to where um, the ships are located, so they can get there. He can get his family to the ships without a ticket. And so they get the plane, then Yellowstone blows up, like it would eventually. It will eventually, but not today. And then you get to see the fireball behind the RVs driving down the hill. It's really interesting. Keeps you going. I've got this part of my collection, so I watch it a lot. I tend to like the Earth destruction movies, or California destruction movies are even better. Eventually, you'll figure out why. But um, No, where was I? Oh yeah, they finally get the map, and then when they get up in the air after running away from the Yellowstone corridor blowing up, or the Yellowstone volcano blowing up, they end up in the air, and then once they look at the map, they realize they need a bigger plane, so they fly to another airport, the only one that seems to be open when they run out of fuel, and hook up with his old boss or person he used to drive around, and they have a bigger plane, and his ex-wife's new husband is a pilot, so he co-pilots the bigger plane and gets them there. They destroy a Bentley, a couple other things, cars. Um, L.A. gets blown up, sunk into the ocean, which is always a good thing. Most of California turns into molten lava, which is also a good thing. It reminds me of another movie I'd like to get right behind this, but I can't get it right now. It's not in line with the movies that I'm going to do. I'm trying to do all the movies I got plus the new ones that I collect, so that you know, something to do, something to do. I don't really care if it does anything or not. So they call this an action adventure and a sci-fi because it is science fiction when they blow stuff up, and the whole idea of the Earth is got to be covered in water. And so anyway, the ships are kind of interesting. When they get to the ships, they got big old back doors on them so they can load. Load. They got them on stabilizers, so when the wave hits, it holds it in place for the first initial wave at, what was it, 50,000 feet in China. So when they get to China, the soldiers pick them up, pick up the guys with the tickets, the ones without tickets, even though his girlfriend was one that he should be putting on there. The guys with the tickets get picked up, take it to the ships. The rest of them get left behind, and then they figure out a way to get local family to help them get to the ship and get aboard. Then they end up letting a bunch of people onto the ship, so they're over capacity, and they run into the north face of Mount Rushmore before they get the engines running properly. It's really edge of the seat kind of thriller movie, I'd say. Man, I don't know how to make these videos any longer. Anyway, so it's got reviews on, let's see, yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, it's got views on just about everything, and it seems like from what I'm seeing here, just about everybody likes it. Some people even call it an 80s blockbuster shot tell, but this thing came out in 2012, which was, good time for that type of thing. Everybody was thinking about the Earth getting blown up or destroyed at the time because they were, what was it? It was hole in the ozone layer or global warming. I don't know which, but it was some kind of environmental thing. Hollywood's always trying to push the latest environmental thing that's going on, and it usually doesn't help them none. It just gives the politicians up in Washington, D.C. something to talk about when they're not making bad policy. But yeah, the Earth, in this movie, they completely relocate, destroy, move the land masses around, and they relocate the poles so that the Earth does a flip, and somehow they survive it. Um, if it really happened, I don't think we'd survive it, but what do I know? Anyway, so we're going to call this a good one, and we'll see what we can do for better, try to make this better. Right now, it's just